Heaven and Hell, we are on to an extremely classic album that came out in pretty much rebirth of metal in 1980. The artwork is an absolute classic with angels smoking cigarettes. Now let me admit something that's kind of important to my experience with this album. I could not get into this album or Mob Rules for quite some time. I knew they were good, but I didn't love them. The scores were significantly lower for both albums. But then I finally started to understand them when I gave all the other eras of Black Sabbath and everything a break. I even got into Tony Martin before this era, and then I got into Dio solo stuff and Rainbow and this. And let me tell you, I finally get this album and how truly great it is. In fact, I'm even starting to think I like this album more than Paranoid. So believe it or not, Ozzy was actually supposed to be on this album. And there are apparently some demo tracks of him singing songs such as Children of the Sea. But he wanted to go back into a very heavy and dark direction that they were on the first albums, and he was really getting sick of everyone and pissing everyone off. The band didn't like his erratic behavior anymore. And if you don't know much about Ozzy, he's fucked up during the 80s with drugs. So I believe I'm pretty sure he left Black Sabbath. I'm pretty sure he was kicked out of Black Sabbath this time. Iommi didn't really know what to do. There was a rift between the other members and him. And then he met Dio in a bar and they really hit it off. And Dio even did some demos with him of Children of the Sea and it worked out perfectly. He redid lyrics and vocal melodies and made it his own. They both state that it was like fate that they met that day, because then they would create this legendary album. And Dio, I'd say, took this experience from these two great albums, these first two great Heaven and Hell era albums, and took it on to everything else he did. There was a lot of band member changes and stuff. They were getting other people, and there was problems with pretty much every member at this time. Iommi was working very hard to make really great songs, and he had enough time to perfect all the stuff he was writing. And Dio helped a lot with it too. He helped write some songs, and he did a lot of work with the lyrics. And it's classic Dio lyrics with magical storytelling, so making an entire storybook with lyrics. Truly an example of an album or sets of albums where I actually give a shit about the lyrics because they're so much more interesting than they'd usually be. They're not generic like, say, or maybe earlier Black Sabbath. It's a lot more intricate and a lot more creative. Like a Dr. Seuss book. The Geezer Butler was having a hard time during this era. I believe he was going through a divorce. And they got in some other dude to help them with bass, and he claims that he wrote or helped write some of the songs and that he actually played bass in the album. But Iommi and Geezer Butler completely deny this and said that he did do bass demos, but they had Geezer come in and completely rewrite them. And I believe they hooked Geezer to get back with them in the band and get reinterested when they did Neon Nights or something. They did a demo of it and he thought it was fucking awesome. And Bill Ward was having a lot of trouble at this time with drug addiction, and his parents were dying, and he says he doesn't even remember making this album. But believe it or not, a lot of personal issues could help unite their friends, such as their bandmates, even closer, and even spark creative brilliance, which happened with this album. And they even got a classic producer known as Martin Birch to come in and produce the album, just like early Rainbow albums and Iron Maiden. And the production's very, very good, but there's a problem with, I don't know, some problem with his production, with his earlier productions, is that the bass sounds really clunky, and I don't know, I just don't like the bass sound, especially on Neon Nights. I love the song, but that sound just turns me off sometimes. And it doesn't seem like a consistent production, which is also kind of a good thing, I guess, because it adds more varieties to the songs, unlike AC/DC, where every song has like the exact same production. And Dio claimed that they knew this album would be pure gold because they were playing the album at strip clubs nearby before it was officially released, just to see the reaction and stuff. And he said everyone there absolutely loved it. They played the whole album through, and the girls, the dancers, even loved every single damn song, especially Heaven and Hell. So let's get into the classic-ass amazing songs in this album, starting with Neon Nights, which is a song I've always really liked, but like I said, I sometimes it's turned me off with the beginning sound of it. It just sounds really clunky and bizarre with an extremely loud bass. Let me tell you, when Dio's vocals kick in, it's so beautiful and catchy. The riffs are very, very cool, and the lyrics are really badass. But no, it's about knights, like medieval knights, and there's a lot of cool changes in there too. It's not like a generic song. You got Tony Iommi to give credit for that, because he's a great songwriter, especially in this era. He really starts changing stuff up, especially towards the middle of the song. Everything gets topsy-turvy in a very, very good way, because it's almost sort of regurgitate lyrics in a way, but changes the song and style and riff structure. I love the screams, like the melodic, beautiful screams Dio does in the song. The chorus is catchy, and you gotta love the crazy-ass Iommi's like whammy bar soloing after the chorus. And the solo on here is great as well, and every member sounds perfect. Neon Nights gets a 5 out of 5. One of the easily best songs of the album, one of the best songs of this era. It is a true classic. Iommi even noted that he really liked the way he wrote with Dio, because instead of Ozzy, who paralleled the riffs of the songs, he just sung along with the music. Instead, Dio sung around the music. He made a melody that blended with the music, but sort of like how a bass not always plays the same thing as a guitar, or two guitars, they do like a melody, but they're doing two different things. It sounds really great. Now we move on to one of the final children of the songs I'm going to talk about. We already did Children of the Damned, Children of the Grave. Here we go, Children of the Sea. This one's very, very mellow. And I'm not kidding you. Is it just me, or does the intro sound exactly like Hotel California, like that weird melody? But anyways, the lyrics are very great, and this is one of the first songs that, you know, Dio, he's known for inventing the horns and stuff, but he has a lot of other cool things that he does throughout his career, but it's not very repetitive because it's always cool. It's almost like a cameo or a running joke. He says, "Look out!" on some of his songs. It's really cool. He says, "Look out!" a bunch of times at the end of the song, and it just makes it so much more special. And this was also a song I was having a hard time getting into because I thought it was too mellow. But I'm starting to really realize the brilliance of it. It's just so masterfully written. The melodic riffs are just so well crafted for Iommi, and when it gets heavier, it just fits in perfectly. It doesn't feel out of place or like there's a stop. It just blends right into it perfectly, kind of like Children of the Damned works. And the chorus is really, really, really catchy. The solo is really well written. Everyone sounds really great, and the bass and drum groove in the heavier parts are really catchy. This song is also masterfully well written. 5 out of 5, another perfect Black Sabbath song. Then we get to a somewhat weaker song. I think the lowest rating for a song on this album is a 4.25 out of 5. This one, already I'll tell you, it's a 4.5. This song is Lady Evil. She's a magical, mystical woman. And I'll note that this song is very similar to somewhat like the grooviness of Lady of the Lake and Gypsy. I don't know what it is. He's always wrote these like groovy songs about like some woman or something. Country Girl sort of has a groove to it as well, which will be on Mock Rules. Well, once again, I had a hard time getting into this song, but I've listened to it so many times, and it's easily one of the most memorable songs in the album because that awesome grooving fucking bass riff. Geezer Butler, believe it or not, is probably the one who easily shines in this song, and I really, really love that. And Dio's lyrics, once again, on every single song, they always have something unique to them. And this one is almost like describing like a Hansel and Gretel, sort of like, oh, beautiful, mystical land, and then you find some like Lady Evil, this witch in the forest. Really awesome story. The chorus is catchy as hell. It's a little simple, it's just kind of the same riff, I believe, but it's so memorable. I don't know what it is about the song. I love the part where Dio says she's queen of the night. And there's a crazy ass guitar solo in there to top it off. Lady Evil, like I said, 4.5 out of 5. Now we get to the masterpiece, the epic. A second short of 7 minutes. This song has always been a classic to me. I've always loved the song. It's such a great song, but I will say I didn't love it as much as I do love it now back then. And it's the first song I've ever heard Dio sing, and it is just easily one of Black Sabbath's best songs as well. And what makes this song unique is not only the lyrics that are very inspirational, but the song has a lot of progressive changes to it almost. Like they have completely different movements that bleed into each other perfectly, with whether it be a guitar solo or like a falling down type of fade out, and then it bleeds into a next riff. Every change makes sense, and every change, each time it does, it almost keeps getting better and better and better every single time until you hit the very end of the song. It just keeps climaxing. There's no climax and it stops. But I will say my favorite part of the song isn't the very end. My favorite part is when it starts getting really fast. The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams, heaven and hell, and all that cool parts like the fool, fool. I love that whole section. The first riff is very awesome and slow, then it bleeds in that awesome bass riff. Dio's lyrics and singing are at its peak on this album. Either this or Die Young is what I'd say is best singing on this album. And the lyrics of the song are about how Dio's beliefs of religion is that he believes heaven and hell is life. When things go bad, it's hell, and when things go good, it's heaven. He thinks that if you try to be good and try to make things good for other people, then you'll make life heaven. Or if you be a complete dickhead like Sharon Osbourne, then you make hell for other people. Like the world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. That's hell. And it seems like each change, like each movement, keeps getting a little bit faster. There's the slow tempo, the classic memorable part, and it gets to the mid-tempo where you have some great soloing, and that part's classic too. But then we get to the fast part, like I said, that's extremely classic. Each movement has a mind of its own, pretty much. And you gotta love when he keeps saying fool, fool. This song's 5 out of 5. Easily the best song off the album, and it is truly an epic. And it does so much in just the short amount of time it has. I know it's 7 minutes, but it really feels almost like a 10-minute song, because it just keeps going and getting better, and you never want it to end, because it just grabs you and does not let you go. Then we get to a song which used to be maybe my least favorite from the album, but now I absolutely love it. It's extremely happy. You could argue maybe it's cheesy, but the riffs are very up-tempo, and it's a lot of fast sort of riffing, but it's more like a happy, almost glammy sound to it. It's called Wishing Well, and you gotta love Dio's beautiful, inspiring lyrics and storytelling on this one. I don't know, it just gets the child in me going again, which brings your childhood back, man, even after the fucking Star Wars prequels. And what really grabbed me from this song is that, you know, you could hear the riff, you think that's a little cheesy, but when Dio's vocal melodies come in, the first part, Throw Me a Penny and I'll Make You a Dream, I love that part, but then Life is Not Always What It Seems, or whatever, that is like that vocal change to me. It's so damn catchy and memorable, and it makes the song a 5 out of 5 already. Those great melodies that go throughout the song, they're all unique, and the bridge build-up is really classic and memorable, and I love the chorus as well. It's sort of short, but it gets the job done. Great solo as well. The song is excellent. Everyone's on their A game on this. 5 out of 5 also. Then we get to maybe my second favorite song off the album, Die Young. This one has like a really cool, slow, melodic guitar, and I think synth build-up as well. Maybe just keyboard. And then it just explodes in this heavy as hell riff. Die Young is another one of those like idea songs as opposed to a story song. He thinks if people are like just assholes or negative, then they should just die because they're never going to be happy. You know, your glass is half empty, and go fuck yourself. Kind of a weird idea, but makes for a great fucking song, let me tell you. And when Dio's lyrics kick into the speed metal awesome fucking song, it just takes you all the way to the moon. Because you think like when you first hear that riff, like, man, it doesn't get better than this shit because it already sounds great. And Dio somehow finds a way to do it. And I love how instead of just going right to a chorus, I believe they do like 2 verses, and it just drops off to what you think listening to it would be like a slow middle section, but it's just kind of like a kind of ambient sound. You hear Dio saying Die Young a couple of times, and that's like sort of the chorus. And they have an awesome guitar solo and speed metal shit, and then I guess you could say the real chorus is at the end when Dio keeps saying Die Young over and over. Awesome fucking song, 5 out of 5. It's really emotional too. Then we get to Walk Away, which sounds a lot like a Kiss song. Doesn't really sound much Black Sabbath-y at all. I mean, neither did Wishing Well. But this one just doesn't even sound like shit that'd be on Technical Ecstasy. Yet instead of something on Technical Ecstasy, which sounds fucking retarded and doesn't belong in there at all, this doesn't belong, but then it's still such a great song. This would be like the best Kiss song ever. And I love the backing vocals, the oh, in the chorus. That's always catchy as hell to me. The verse is a bit generic. I do like the riff a lot, It just sounds a little weirdly produced when it comes in. But I do like the verse, but I just don't think the vocal melodies in the verse are that great. But the bridge is really catchy. I love the way Dio sings in that part. And the solo is pretty damn cool too. It seems like the song just keeps getting better at the end, even though they repeat the O's over and over. It just sounds really great, and I do really love this song. So I give this one a 4.25 out of 5. Then we go to the last song. Lonely is the Word. Is very, very slow tempo, but it uses the slow tempo-ness to its full advantage, because I don't believe the song would work as well if it was at a faster tempo. This song's about being lonely, which is kind of a sad thing, you know. I'd say the one big downfall, no pun intended, to this song is that it takes a while for me personally to get into it, because it's a little too slow and monotonous, but it gets really good later and later into the song. Dio's lyrics and singing and vocal melodies are great, but it just seems like the riff's a bit dull at first. And then it gets really great with the quick chorus where Dio just says lonely is the word. Yeah, yeah. And then from that point on, it's like the verse riff kind of makes sense. And I love the bass and drum slow groove that goes throughout the verse. But my favorite part of the song, maybe, aside from the constant lonely is the words at the end that Dio does and the cool singing he does, is the awesomely epic and emotional guitar solo that Tony Iommi does throughout like the entire middle of the song. Very awesome and makes this song an absolute classic in my opinion. Just like almost every song on this album makes it walk away. This song is a 4.5 out of 5. A very great slow tempo ending to this album. So I give this masterpiece, Heaven and Hell, a 9.6 out of 10.